Hey everybody, it's Ron at Becoming Enlightened Together. So we have another read. This one is it's positive for the collective, but it does remind us that there are people that we have to be aware of. Okay, and again, I'm referring to yes, the karmics in our life. Even we may not always know who those people are. Okay, so not everybody's as clear on who this person is or these people are in their life, who are working behind the scenes and very much against them with their words, with their thoughts, perhaps with their magic. You pick things up like that, especially, things that are very, very, intense. You don't always know if it is that they're going through some type of ritual act or whatever the case may be, very likely in some cases with a voodoo, black magic or whatever the case may be. It's becoming more and more common. But it could also be just as prevalent with somebody's thoughts. They could be just seriously hating on you. And we see those things echoed, with the energy at times. So, however this, more or less feels right to you or resonates with you, that's probably the way that it is. Okay, so trust your gut instincts and everything else. Now, what does Ewas in the upright actually mean? Well, again, it's a very positive rune in regards to traveling and so on. Horses, horse and carriage, horse and rider. It talks about how they have to work harmoniously, so there has to be trust and loyalty and harmony, that are involved in this in order for it to be a smooth journey. And that's kind of what AWAS is about. It's about something of a smooth transformation or moving from one point to another point, positively. So it talks about forward movement. It talks about transportation of some kind, change for the better. Talks about partnerships and relationships, and confirmation beyond doubt of the runes around it. Now let's look at some of those runes for today. The past energy that we pulled for today, which is Thursday, is that of Manez. And Manez is the letter M in their alphabet, and it's in the upright. So Manez talks about mankind, humanity. It talks about the self. It talks about altruism. It talks about people and their attitudes towards you as well as your attitudes towards them. It talks about friends and enemies. It talks about modesty and intelligence. It talks about awareness. It talks about one's skills and abilities as well. Somebody's knowledge of the divine structure of things, and somebody that is reminded that help, aid, or comfort, cooperation of some kind, I should say, is coming your way. Doesn't let me know when, it just says soon. So when you need it most. Now the present energy is that of Perthro, and Perthro is in the upright. Okay. Now Perthro in the upright talks about dice cup, lots, games, gaming, things of chance, things unknown, things that are hidden. Talks about initiation process of some kind, perhaps. It also talks about destiny, mystery, knowing one's fate or destiny. It talks about things hidden, the occult. It talks about psychic abilities. So it also talks about the psychic feminine. It talks about sexuality, and it's looked at as being a good lot. Once again, talks about move or change. Okay, so we see that echoed a lot in this particular reading. Now, as far as our obstacles and challenges, we get a pretty nasty one with Thor's mighty rune. The Thor's rune is actually in the reverse. Okay, it looks different on the screen. So Thor's rune in the reverse talks about foolhardiness. Somebody who simply will not heed advice from anybody. They know it all. Classical narcissistic kind of a thing. It talks about somebody who lives a life of folly, danger. Somebody who is at this point in time very defenseless. Somebody who's extremely compulsive, cannot control themselves. Whatever it is that they are feeling, wanting, or feel that they need at that moment, they do. So you know what I'm getting at. It talks about somebody who's filled with evil and malice, hatred, envy, strife. Somebody who's very spiteful, who's a liar. He lies to people and about people. Or she. It could be either way. It talks about basically somebody who could be a rapist even. Basically a very bad person. And this is the kind of person that we have to be aware of, who is in our energetic field. This is why it's a obstacle or possible challenge for us. Okay. Now in our help and advice, we have the rune Yara, and Yara is in the reverse. So what that tells us is that the fruition of something, whether it's this cycle, completing a specific type of task or goal, cannot be forced into its fruition. It has to happen in its own time, basically, is what it gets at. Okay, so it talks about potential setbacks and reversals and things. It also talks about bad timing, possibly poverty, and some form of conflict. Okay, so again, this lets us know that these energies very much exist in our particular energetic sphere. So we have to be cautious of that. And this could be exactly what it is that the karmic themselves in our life is going through. Okay, all this conflict and so on. But they can bring that to your doorstep too. This is why it's giving you a heads up warning. It also talks about for our future outcome. It's quite bright. It's the brightest rune, perhaps, arguably, in the runic bag, in Sowilo, in the upright. It's like the sun card in tarot, and that is the brightest, cheeriest of all the cards. But it talks about sun, clarity, talks about clear vision of something, knowing the truth of something. It talks about health, life force, as the sun actually is, of course. It talks about honor and duty and achievement, someone's goals being achieved. It talks about positive changes being made in your life for the better. It talks about victories, contact between the higher forces and your own subconscious or spirit. Talks about a sense of wholeness and power, and talks about the elemental forces and cleansing fire. This is a time of great change, a time of purging, a time of really going within and cleaning house, maintaining it, right? All right, and that's basically what this reading is all about today. It's telling us, reminding us, yes, we have victory, but there are still things that can happen, and there are still people around us who want very badly for us to stumble and fall and perhaps not achieve our goals. And we're not going to allow that to happen. So sometimes Spirit feels, that it's a good idea to remind the collective of being aware, self-aware. And with that being said, to the collective, as always, I say to stay victorious out there. And I will catch you again in another reading very, very soon. And until we meet in Valhalla, God bless. Take care.